What's up, everybody? You got Tone here, bringing you my NPL Miners Season 4 Week Number 5 battle. This week, we are up against everyone's favorite hobo, that is Carney Hobo, and his Vancouver Stealth Rocks. So we are coming off of a nice win last week against the Portland Trailblazers, in which we picked up our very first 6-0 in Draft League format. So looking to keep with the momentum. Going up against Carney, he's a really cool guy, very fun to be around. I encourage you to check out his channel, as well as all the other coaches in the NPL majors and minors. So, not to waste any time here, I'm just going to get right into the team. You see Carney's team on the left, highlighted, headlined by his Landorus Therian being Z eligible. So, Landorus Therian is a Pokemon that absolutely destroys my team. More so the fact that if he brings like a double dance set with Earthquake and either Flying MZ from Mega Venusaur or Rocky MZ, they will absolutely destroy my team, because I don't really have much for the combination of Stone Edge Earthquake or Fly Earthquake in the slightest. My ground immunity is Latios, and as you'll see in the team builder, I did not bring Latios in this battle simply because there were some things that I wanted to bring against, but at the same time, it kind of had problems against everything. A couple other stuff on this team. So, with that being said, I'm just going to break down the team that I brought. I'm trying to make it as condensed as possible, not to like repeat myself over and over again. So, first Pokemon you see on your screen, we have the debut of Scarface, our Zangoose. Very standard Facade Close Combat knockoff and Quick Attack. You look at Carney's team, and if I get up Stealth Rocks, he doesn't have a switch in to an Adamant Toxic Boost Facade from a Zangoose outside of like a defensive Lando T or like a max HP, max defense Impish Nature Avalugg, which surprisingly still gets 2 KO'd by Facade after Stealth Rock damage. I believe the roll was like 40 to 49%, so yeah. That thing's getting 2-shotted. Nothing on his team wants to take Facade. Probably like a physically defensive Empoleon with Choppleberry to take a close combat, but still going to be taking a crap ton of damage. Knockoff just to knock off some items. Hits the Uxie incredibly hard. And Quick Attack is nice for the priority. It takes out Mega Beedrill after Stealth Rock damage, so that's very nice. So EV spread's pretty straightforward. Max attack with enough speed to outrun a Jolly max speed Bre-looming, and the rest is put into HP. Next Pokemon we have here, we have Gelago, our Spadef Lumberry, Excadrill, Stealth Rock, Rapid Spin, Toxic, and Earthquake. This is my switching to stuff like Raikou. Lumberry, so I can take a Scald if I get burned by like Toxapex or Empoleon. I can Lumberry, heal off the burn, fire off another powerful Earthquake. His only switch into Earthquake is the Lando T and to an extent the Bre-loom, but Bre-loom will be taking chip damage regardless from Earthquake, so I felt pretty confident in bringing EQ. Toxic can catch Lando T on the switch, put that thing on a timer. The EV spread's pretty straightforward. Mostly specially defensive here with just 16 speed to outrun an Adamant max speed Pangoro. Nothing real fancy about that. Next up we have our Mega Venusaur with Sludge Bomb, Synthesis, Leech Seed, Earthquake. Didn't need to bring Giga Drain in this battle because none of his Pokemon are weak to grass. At the same time, his only immunity to Leech Seed is Bre-loom, which gets smacked hard by a Sludge Bomb. So that's very nice. And then we have Earthquake for added coverage to hit the Toxapex and the Empoleon relatively hard. So we're bringing defensive spread here. Max HP, 76 defense with a relaxed nature, and the rest in special defense. The investment on my Mega Venusaur, the HP and defense investment ensures that I am not 2 KO'd by an Adamant max attack Poison Jab from Adaptability Mega Beedrill from full without Stealth Rock, and the rest is put into special defense to take special hits better from like Toxapex, Empoleon, Raikou, and the like. Fourth, we have our Clefairy with Focus Sash, Soft Boiled, Ice Beam, Thunderbolt, and Encore. just a max special attack max HP set because his team is relatively slow, and I can capitalize on that by the combination of Thunderbolt and Ice Beam. I had Moonblast on here for Pangoro, but I really want to keep Encore around because he does have that Snorlax, and if he starts trying to curse up, I can Encore it, force him to switch out or the whatnot. I can force stuff like Uxie to Encore into stuff like Stealth Rock. I can Encore Toxapex into Recover, that sort of stuff, or whatever setup move or status move he wants to go for. So pretty straightforward here, and just 4 in speed, so I avoid speed tying with uninvested Empoleon. Number 5, we have our Xurkitree, Tail Glow 3 attacks. Again, trying to capitalize on how his team is pretty slow. Shuckleberry take an Earthquake from Lando T. And everything else is pretty much straightforward. Thunderbolt, Volt Switch, HP Ice give me basically perfect coverage against his entire team. Nothing can really switch in on any of his combination of moves. Max HP, 96 special attack, modest nature, and enough speed to outrun an adamant max speed Bre-loom. And lastly, we have our Scolipede, Protect 3 attacks with Waterium Z, with Mega Horn, Aqua Tail, and Earthquake. Adamant max attack, enough speed to outrun a Jolly max speed Lando T. After a speed boost, I outspeed everything on his entire team. Barring, I believe, a potential... If he's Choice Scarf Raikou, which I don't really see him being, I don't outspeed that, but I don't really see that being... I don't really see him bringing a Choice Scarf Raikou in this battle. So Scolipede is my last ditch response to like a Lando T that hasn't set up a Rock Polish. I outspeed that, fire off a Hydro Vortex, do a lot of damage to that. Mega Horn hits stuff like Uxie and whatnot, and Earthquake is there for Toxapex and the Empoleon. Everything is pretty much hit neutrally except for like Avalugg, which I can pressure pretty easily with the rest of my team, so I don't really see that being a big issue. So yeah, that's the team that we're bringing for Carney. It's pretty much a condensed team builder, like I said. It's going to be pretty straightforward here. Not going to beat around the bush this week at least, but the team is pretty straightforward, like I said. So switching right over to the battle, and you see Carney decides to bring the Lando T, the Gothitelle, Toxapex, Bre-loom, the Raikou, and the Snorlax. So I was pretty much expecting the first two because Lando T, like I said, does a lot to my team, and Gothitelle can trap my defensive Pokemon and have its way with those Mons. Bre-loom, I kind of expected this for the priority and whatnot. It actually puts in a ton of work against some of my Mons. Raikou, I have Excadrill, but you're gonna see what happens in the battle. And Snorlax could probably like a curse set, so I need to keep Clefable relatively healthy or keep it around for potential Encore support. So seeing his team as a whole, I still felt as though that my safest lead would be Xurkitree. If he led off with Gothitelle, I could just Volt Switch right on out of there and go into probably my Excadrill, depending on what kind of set he is. If he's faster than me, I know he's Choice Scarf. If he tricks me a Choice Scarf, I'm fine with that. So just going to hop right into the battle here. I am going to lead off with my Xurkitree, like I said. And he's going to lead off with the Gothitelle. I'm going to fire off a Volt Switch to see what's going to happen. I go first, do with 42%. I'm going to Volt Switch right out into my Excadrill. See if I can get off a powerful Earthquake. He goes for the Psychic here. Not going to do much because I am Spadef. So now I take the opportunity. I have a choice to get my Rocks up or go for the Toxic on the Lando switch. But I decided this turn to get my Rocks first to wear down the rest of his team. He doesn't have any hazard removal. He goes for the Rock Paw, expecting me to switch out. I couldn't switch out in good faith because, like I said, no ground switch-ins. He goes for the Rock Polish. I get the Toxic off at least, and I'm forced to sack off my my Excadrill here to the Earthquake, which sucks for two reasons. One, because I needed my Excadrill to check the Raikou, and now his Raikou is free to spam Volt Switch on my entire team. And 2 is the fact that I wanted to see if he had Swords Dance 2. Just in case he did, I can just try to whittle that thing down with not with Iron Head. Well, I didn't really have much to whittle it down with other than Rapid Spin, so sorry about that. Whittle that thing down with Toxic and whatnot, so I couldn't really touch it, and I couldn't switch out into stuff like my Clefable in good faith because it was kind of a 50-50 in my head whether he would go for Swords Dance or whether he would go for Earthquake. My Venusaur wasn't Mega, so I couldn't switch in wholeheartedly, and he could have been flying MZ, and I didn't want to risk my Mega Venusaur because he still had that Bre-loom. So yeah, I was in a very precarious situation there, especially because he was already at +2 speed. I couldn't go out into Scolipede because I need Scolipede to break down the Gothitelle and all that stuff. So yeah, it was a very tough turn for me there, but it doesn't allow me to go out into my Clefable here. If he fires off the Z move, I live because I'm Focus Sash. I'm going to fire off an Ice Beam, see if he's Yachi Berry. Goes for the Earthquake. Does out 74%. Go for the Ice Beam. No Yachi Berry. Down goes Lando T. And pretty much one of the biggest threats of his team is gone. He goes on to his Raikou, unfortunately. He gets a free Volt Switch because I have no Excadrill. So I'm forced to sack off my Clefable here because I wanted to get the Switch initiative on my side. So he's going to Volt Switch, he's going to go out into Snorlax here. I'm going to go out into my Mega Venusaur here, try to get the Mega off and go for Elite Seed here. We connect with Elite Seed as he goes for a return, and that does pitiful damage. And I'm pretty much getting more than half of my health back from the Elite Seed. Now, I contemplated going for a double Elite Seed here on the Gothitelle switching, but I wanted to get some damage also. I go for the Sludge Bomb here, do 14, get down to 14%, and he gets poisoned. So now this was the main turn. Oh, you can't see the Mega Venusaur spray, but basically this was a turn where things took a little bit of a weird turn. I say weird because for one, we played this game at like after 2 in the morning, so I'm not really paying attention to to everything that's going on. I'm just like trying to get myself into a position where I get my Zangoose in, I start clicking Bestodo and stuff and all these sort of things. So I forget that way back in turn 1, my Xurkitree outsped my his Gothitelle. And I'm thinking in the back of my head, okay, my Xurkitree outsped his Gothitelle, so that probably means he didn't invest speed for... He probably didn't invest that much speed. I didn't look at my speed tier. I didn't see any of that. I'm thinking this Gothitelle outspeeds my Mega Venusaur because I'm relaxed natured. So I'm like, okay, he's gonna go first. He's gonna fire off a Psychic, try to get damage off on me, and I'm going to click Synthesis on the Psychic to get back to full, keep my Mega Venusaur healthy, and all that stuff. But what ends up happening here is I end up being faster and I go for Synthesis because I'm thinking the poison's going to take it out. He fires off a Psychic here and gets off over half to my Mega Venusaur. I'm like, oh crap, I think I just screwed up. I should have just attacked this thing. And now he gets to go out into his Raikou here after Gothitelle dies to poison. And now here's the other thing that sort of matters here. It wasn't really a 50-50 at this point, because I'm thinking, I'm doing the calcs. I did the calcs after this, for this turn. I'm like, okay, if he has extra sensory, I can take one and then click Synthesis after the extra sensory as long as I don't get flinched. Because the roll was like 35% to my Mega Venusaur. I'm like, okay, I can take that extra sensory, no problem. The only way I can't take an extra sensory from this Raikou is if he specs. And considering I had a specially defensive Excadrill, I really don't think he would be specs Raikou in good faith. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna stay in. I can live the extra sensory. Even if I get flinched, I can Synthesis up on Toxapex. I can get my health back on Snorlax, all that sort of stuff. So I'm going to stay in because I'm thinking he's not going to be Specs Raikou. It wouldn't make any sense to bring it. He goes for Extra Sensory and takes out my Mega Venusaur. He Specs Raikou. I'm like, oh crap. That's the last thing I wanted to see at this point with a Specs Raikou, especially when I lost my Excadrill. And I'm like, yeah, I think it's going to be very, very tough to take out this Bre-loom now because I just lost my switch into it. And I'm like, okay, now the only way for me to get rid of this Bre-loom is with my Scolipede. So first off, I'm going to go out into my circuitry like I probably should have the previous turn, instead of risking that extra sensory on the Raikou and gauge the damage from there. So I'm trying to play damage control here. I don't know how exactly it's going to work out, but what I'm going to do here, I'm going to fire off a Tail Glow first because I know I can take one. I can take 2 extra sensories from a Choice Specs Raikou. So I go for the Tail Glow here this turn. That does nearly half. I'm fine with that. I'm at +3 now. I'm going to fire off an HP Ice. It's my strongest attack to hit it with. Take another extra sensory. I go for the HP Ice, and he lives on 4%. I'm like, ah. I was hoping the roll would be a lot higher in my favor, but it didn't happen. Down goes my circuitry. I do get a free switch into my Zangoose, so I'm here to click Quick Attack, but he's going to switch out, go out into his Toxapex on the Quick Attack. It's going to do pitiful damage because I have my Toxic Orb boost activated. Now I do, and now I get to fire off Facade like I wanted to do a little bit earlier. That does 67% to a Toxapex. So he goes for Recover here to gauge the damage. If I was Jolly, he definitely would have taken 2, but I had no reason to be Jolly in this case. Go for another Facade. Down goes Toxapex. The Toxapex is gone. In comes the Bre-loom. Trying to fire off a Mach Punch here. I'm going to be forced out. I'm going to go out into my Scolipede, of course, to take the Mach Punch. And here I contemplated doubling back into my Zangoose, just because I knew he wouldn't stay in, but what could I do? He decided to sack off Raikou to the Stealth Rock here just to see what I'm going to do. Fire off a Mega Horn. Of course, it's no target. In comes the Snorlax now on my Scolipede. I'm going to fire off a Mega Horn here, and unfortunately I miss. And he's going to fire off he's going to go for a Rest here because he knew he could take 1 Mega Horn. Reveals he's going to reveal afterwards that he is he's Resto Chesto at this point because he eats the Chesto berries. Now he's back at full. I'm like, okay, now I have to play damage control here, trying to fire off another Mega Horn. I really wanted to switch out into Zangoose, but when I saw Chesto Berry, I couldn't, so I had to go for damage here. Mega Horn does half to the Snorlax. He's going to fire off a Return, and doesn't really take me out at this point. Does 59% roughly. I'm going to fire another Mega Horn. I'm thinking if I get another high roll, I take out the Snorlax, he's forced to go for like a Mega Horn, or not Mega Horn, like a Mach Punch or something, but I don't get the roll like I did the first time. And my Scolpide's gonna drop to the next return, and all I have left is my Zangoose, which I can pick off the Snorlax with a knockoff. That's all well and good, but unfortunately the Bre-loom is just gonna come in, click Mach Punch. And unfortunately, we are going to lose this game 1-0 because of the fact that if I kept my Mega Venusaur around, I actually would have won this game. But unfortunately, I didn't. We are now 2-3, +4 differential. Now, if you're wondering why I didn't click Quick Attack on the Bre-loom, I did the calcs during this last turn, and it turns out even if I got a crit on the Quick Attack from my Zangoose, the max roll I would have gotten would be 80%. So I need a little bit more chip damage off on the Bre-loom in order to fire off a Quick Attack in good faith, and I thought he would think that he would outspeed my Zangoose or something like that. But yeah, that unfortunately did not happen. I wasn't expecting Specs. I don't want to make any excuses here because, like I said, we played this game at like a little after 2 in the morning. Like, we would have played it earlier, but some stuff came up for Carney and whatnot, so I made it just I adjusted to his schedule and all that stuff. So it is what it is. So we hit the halfway point on a little bit of a sour note. We're 2-3, like I said. I'm still happy with the result. At least the losses for me have been relatively low. It's been 2 1-0 losses and a 2-0 loss to Donachie a few weeks back. So I'm happy that the losses have been relatively close, but at the same time it's pretty bad considering the fact that I'm now 0-3 against my own conference, and I'm 2-0 against the other conference. And if I really want to make the playoffs, I gotta start beating people in my own conference. Like I said, I'm 0-3 right now, so that kind of sucks. I'm not gonna lie, but it is what it is. I tried. I'm not gonna say I tried. I did my best to like play around the whole situation. The Specs Raikou threw me off. I really wasn't expecting the Raikou to be Specs, but props to Carney for bringing a solid team. And I encourage you guys to check out Carney's side of the battle, as well as checking out everyone associated with the National Pokeball League from the majors, minors, and the analysts that pop out the power rankings on a weekly basis. But again, unless if you guys did enjoy this battle, leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe if you guys are new to the channel. We have hit the midway point of the season, and we are taking on fellow division opponent in Mio and the Oklahoma City Thunders for week 6 of the NPL Minors. So I hope you're looking forward to that battle as much as I am. I'm gonna get the heck out of here, guys. Hope you guys have a good day, and until the next time, guys, my name is Anthony, aka Tone, and I'm gonna catch you guys on the flip side. Later.